During our 40-day preparation for this great day of resurrection, we certainly have been reminded of the Holy Cross and the place of suffering in life. But this was not the only theme. Others were the disciplines of fasting and prayer, directing our attention to the needs of others and witnessing to the gospel. These, as well as suffering, are not intended as punishment, but for healing. Healing of our person, healing of our relationships with others, healing of our relationship with God. The gospel of the second week of the Great Fast teaches this directly. At the beginning of the fast, we recall how God moved Adam and Eve from the Garden of Paradise to the world as we know it. Here they were to work, to struggle, indeed to suffer and to die. One may consider this either punishment or an opportunity for healing. Indeed, nothing they could do would ever heal the greatest wound ever known, the rift between humankind and God. God the Son did that by entering so deeply into our being that our being was transformed. He then invited us to participate in a very small way. Each of us is now able to return to our true being as Adam and Eve knew it in Eden. The world continues to find itself in need of healing. An example of this is the insurrections in North Africa and the Middle East. One wonders if there is any hope for these countries. Will they be able to heal their society as the United States was able to do after the war between the states? Now one must remember that the primary way for the healing of our country was that of forgiveness, a virtue taught by Christ's words and indeed his life among us that culminated in his resurrection. We may turn to holy matrimony as a model for all relationships, for this is how we understand Christ's relationship to humankind, bridegroom to bride. Male and female, so very different, join to become one, as God and man become one in Jesus Christ. Their life of self-sacrifice models that of Christ for humankind and our relationship with God. That sacrifice is not just in dying, but in living from conception through dying. In the fifth ode of the Resurrection Matins we sing, "Let us meet the bridegroom Christ as he comes forth from the tomb." Christ's nuptial relationship with us allows us hope. Christ's sacrifice began with his incarnation and continued through his death on the cross. The life of Christ, fully God and fully man, would not be separated even by death. By his accepting human life, he raised human life, and by death he trampled death. The pagan soldier at the cross stated, "Indeed, this was an innocent man." Without faith, all we can do is pity and appreciate Jesus, as we do the many heroes who give their lives for others. With the knowledge of resurrection, however, we know that the life and death of Jesus Christ have effected the healing needed for our return to eternal life with God. That healing begins with us individuals and extends to the local society and to the world. As we proclaim the resurrection, we proclaim life for each of us and for our world. As we live according to Christ's teaching, we participate in that healing, and we may lead the world to the healing it needs. Let the proclamation be voiced and lived. Christ is risen. Indeed he is risen.